Hello everyone, today is March 27th, 2023. My name is Hoshino. I'm here again with my great friend Patrick, who is representative of the International Golden Age Group, as well as Terry-san from the Japan PFC official. So welcome guys.
Hello.
Hello.
So we're here for a new interview with Cobra and to talk about the portal of light activation, which is the most powerful planetary activation of our lifetimes until now. So welcome Cobra.
Thank you for your invitation.
So, okay, without further ado, I will let Terry-san ask the questions.
Okay. You mentioned that the portal of light activation comes at the moment of the completion of a very powerful cycle. Can you elaborate on what this cycle is?
No, I cannot. This is classified information, but I would say it's a huge cycle with long-lasting consequences for this planet, for the planetary liberation, and for the end of darkness in this universe, and of course, then also on this planet.
Interesting. Thank you very much. Okay, moving to the next question. You mentioned that this is the most powerful planetary activation of our lifetimes until now. Can you please explain again why it can be so? Is it because of the very special aspects of the key planets?
There are many factors involved here. The first one is that the light forces have progressed in removing the darkness to the extent that such powerful energies from the galactic center are finally able to reach the surface of the planet without causing massive destruction, and instead it will just do an uplift of the planetary evolution. They will accelerate our spiritual growth, and they will assist in the removal of the remaining darkness. And this is one aspect of this is the planetary aspects of the key planets, especially Pluto entering Aquarius and making strong aspects with Pleiades and with M87 galaxy. There are some other, I would say, trans-Neptunian objects involved in this configuration as well. But the planetary aspects are not the only ones. As I said before, there is a huge, very powerful cosmic cycle ending just before May the 1st, and this will be additional push to make this the most powerful activation so far.
Great. Okay, so why would the waves of the portal of light reach the peak intensity when Pluto turns retrograde?
Okay, from the perspective of planet Earth, the Pluto, the moment when it turns retrograde is stationary, it does not move apparently in the sky. So its aspects with Pleiades and M87 will be the most powerful ones. It will be like a moment of no breath, a moment of stillness, a moment when the most powerful energies can enter.
I see. So sometimes the people may have the impression that retrogrades means somewhat going backward. So this is still very powerful.
The moment of the activation is when Pluto is stationary. It is not direct, it's not retrograde. It is the moment of stillness. It is the most powerful moment.
Great, understood. Thank you very much. At the time of the Age of Aquarius final activation in December 2020, a ground trine was formed among Jupiter and Saturn, Alcyone, and the M87 galaxy. For this time, a ground trine will be formed with Pluto instead of Jupiter and Saturn. How would this difference affect the planetary liberation of the planet Earth?
The energy of Pluto is much more laser-like, much more focused, and much more direct. And it does bring everything that was suppressed to the surface. And it brings also, I would say, it's an opportunity for the underground kingdom of light, the Agartha network, and the resistance movement to have more influence on what's happening on the surface of this planet.
I see. So that's why that's more powerful this time.
Yes.
Okay, great. At the time of the portal of light activation, the energy from the galactic center will begin to flow toward the surface of this planet with full force. Why has this energy not flown with full force so far?
I would not say it will flow with full force because a full force galactic energy flow would create an imminent polar shift, but I would say the energy will be much more powerful than before. The reason for this is that before there was so much darkness on this planet, if that energy would come, it would trigger so strong reactions, so strong retaliation of the dark forces that the surface of the planet would not survive. Right now, so much darkness has been removed that this can safely happen. This energy can safely reach the surface of the planet and do the cleansing that is necessary to what it needs to do.
I see, understood. Great. So how would this full energy affect the Chintamani grid on the surface of the planet?
It will actually activate the Chintamani grid to a certain degree.
Okay, the next question. You mentioned that Pluto in Aquarius will signify a focused effort of positive extraterrestrial races toward the first contact. And the Pleiadians will have a very active role in this. In comparison with the divine intervention activation in December 2021, how differently would the success of this activation affect the plans of the first contact?
Okay, the plans of the Pleiadians regarding the first contact and the surface of the planet activities in the period of May 2023 are still classified. But I would say that there is a certain renewed effort to create the first contact experience. More details, hopefully, I'm not sure, but hopefully they will be released in May. We will see.
Okay, interesting. Thank you very much. Okay, next question. At the age of Aquarius final activation in December 2020, an energy pulse from the M87 galaxy reached the surface of the planets for about 10 to 15 seconds and promptly eliminated about 10% of the remaining anomaly. As the energy this time is even stronger than that time, will it likely eliminate the implant, the anomaly, and the black holes more intensely than the last time?
Yes, that is expected. It's not guaranteed, but it is expected.
Great. You mentioned that a portal light activation will create an energetic upgrade for the whole planet if we manage to reach the critical mass. Can you specifically describe what will possibly happen when the planetary energy is fully upgraded?
Well, what is expected is that the light worker grid on the surface of the planet will begin to be reactivated again. What is expected is much more contact between the light workers and beings of light. What is expected is a new wave of inspiration, which was greatly suppressed in the last few decades. So it is the first, what is expected, but not guaranteed, of course, is the first moment of the rebirth of the new age of Aquarius. So this is what can happen.
Okay, great. Okay, the time of the light portal activation is based on CEDT in Paris, Central European Daylight Time. What special things will happen in this city during this activation?
Okay, the Paris vortex is the key goddess vortex for the surface of the planet, and this is why the main anchor is there. So this is the main reason why the activations are anchored in that particular location.
Okay, great. The feminine energy on the surface of planet Earth is very low at moments. Will there be changes to the situation if the critical mass is successfully reached? What specifically can we expect in this area?
Again, if the light worker energy grid will be reactivated, there will be a rebirth of goddess energy, and the feminine principle will begin to flow more freely, and that can happen if the critical mass is reached, and depending on how things go, this is something that we can expect.
Okay, great. If light workers want to hold a physical meditation meeting in Paris, would you recommend some energetically powerful spots for them?
I have written extensively about this on my blog, and people can just go through the articles and use that as guidance.
Okay, great. If we want to use these enormously powerful energies to reactivate old Atlantean goddess vortices, where would you recommend for a physical meditation meeting?
Okay, one aspect of this is along the old Atlantean equator, and the other aspect of this is anywhere near the water or even inside the water, lake, river, sea, ocean.
I see, that's interesting. Okay, great. Are there any other specific locations around the world that you would recommend for a physical meeting during the portal of light activation?
As I said, near the water or inside the water, inside a body of water, or on the top of the mountains. That is also another interesting location. There are many quite powerful energy spots that are quite well known: Mount Shasta, Mount Fuji, and also some other locations.
I see. That's interesting. That means the either on ocean or the sea or the top of the mountain.
Yes.
Okay,
It's
great.
just a recommendation. It is not absolutely necessary, but if you are able to go there, that would be quite beneficial.
Okay, sure. So if we want to hold a physical meditation meeting on the goddess temples and invite the general populations to join the portal of light activation, what tachyonized products can we use to boost the benefits of our meeting?
Any tachyonized products that bring a goddess energy, there is a whole section dedicated to the goddess energy on the Tachyonics website.
Okay, great.
Of course, in the
Oh, all right, great. Last time Pluto was in Aquarius was between 1777 and 1798. What historically significant events or actions did the light forces fulfill in these 21 years?
Okay, people are usually mentioning French revolution in the context of Pluto and Aquarius in the 18th century, but this is not the main thing that happened. The main thing that happened was an expansion of our horizons regarding our place in the universe. Planet Uranus was discovered. That was the first balloon flight. It was actually the beginning of something that later developed in a space program. So that time period started a cycle that can lead to the first contact.
I see. Okay, great. So once the portal of the light was activated, will it remain open until 2044?
The portal of light is a certain time period between March and June of 2023. Then Pluto will briefly re-enter Capricorn again and enter again into Aquarius in the beginning of next year, spend almost the whole next year there, and very briefly enter Capricorn again, and then finally re-enter Aquarius for good at the end of 2024. The energy of the portal of light will just give that initial boost for the energy of Pluto and Aquarius that will ultimately lead to the first contact.
I see. Okay, understood. So when it comes to goddess related to Pluto, most people would think of Persephone, the queen of the underground. Can you please explain briefly her background and her role in this activation?
Okay, in mythology, if I translate this into our language, it means that Persephone was actually rescued from the surface of the planet by Pluto and then merged with him in a soulmate or even twin soul union. So this aspect is a resistance movement starting to do certain activities that will lead to the meeting of the soulmates and twin souls on the surface of the planet and below the surface of the planet when the time is right.
Okay, that's very interesting. Okay, next question. Hades is the representative god of Pluto. Is he a member of a positive star race? What is his exact relationship with Persephone?
Yes, of course, he is a member of a positive star race, and Persephone is either his soulmate or his twin soul. For the exact answer, I would need to go much deeper into this, but right now I would say they have a very strong and loving connection.
Okay, great. Pluto has several positive representations in astrology, such as transformation, revival, massive wealth, deeply hidden wealth within ourselves, and also wisdom in leadership. How can we utilize the most extraordinary opportunity in our lifetime to make a fortune and expand a positive influence in our daily life?
Okay, the main energy blueprint of Pluto and Aquarius is expansion beyond the limits of the quarantine Earth. And there is a vast storage of spiritual knowledge and also physical abundance, which is connected to areas beyond the surface of the planet. And Pluto and Aquarius will reconnect the surface of the planet with those reservoirs of wisdom and abundance and spiritual inspiration.
So with the success for this activation, this can be more easily maybe available for the surface population?
Yes, that is expected.
Okay, great. You share a poster of breakthrough of light in the activation post. And if we manage to reach the critical mass in this meditation, what significant breakthroughs will we witness on the surface of the planet?
Okay, one thing that is expected is much more light coming to the surface of the planet. How exactly this will play out is not yet known. One of the reasons is that the light forces are not sharing any intel about the surface activities yet. They don't want to say anything. They might have a reason for this, but there is no intel about what will happen on the surface after May of this year.
I see. So that means that they may be able to share this information if we are successful on the activation.
Probably after, I would say, mid-May, there will be the release of new intel to the surface population, but I am not completely sure.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. This is the end of my questions. And the next questions will be made by Hoshino-san.
Okay, Cobra, I'll start off my questions. So during the port of light activation, what taconized product can we use to enhance the intensity of this energetic breakthrough?
Of course, the first ones are the sinter-mining stones. This is number one. This is definitely the most powerful tool that you can use to ground and channel this energy.
Okay. Okay, next question. On the M87 galaxy, sent 2 waves of cosmic love energies separately in 2013 and 2020. If we assume the intensity of the 2013 wave as 1, can you estimate the power level of the 2020 wave and the one coming this May?
Okay, I would say the one in 2020 it was 5, but this can be 10 or 20 or even more. So it's going to be very intense.
Wow, yeah, it's certainly going to be very intense indeed. Okay, next question. Does this activation relate to the liberation of the causal plane?
It does relate to the liberation of the causal plane and also all other planes, both physical and non-physical.
Okay, great, thank you. And you also mentioned in the February 2033 situation update that the light forces are clearing the shock to which the causal bodies of the surface humanity were subjected since 1996. As the energy of the portal of light can be felt from March 23rd, how can we use the energy to consciously heal our causal bodies?
The most effective way to do this is meditation, in which you connect with your causal body and meditate with your causal body. You can do that by simply visualizing rays of light, of golden light, for example, or rainbow light, emanating from your heart chakra in all directions around your energy field. And you can use this meditation. Probably there will be a certain specific meditation protocol developed for this. If we have time to do this, this will be nice. So this is one way you can assist in the healing of the causal body and accelerate your soul evolution as well.
Okay, great. Thanks for the information. Okay, the next question. The Pluto in Aquarius will signify a focused effort of positive extraterrestrial races towards the first contact. What can the surface population do to speed up this process?
To connect with positive races in their meditations, in their own life, they can call upon them, they can talk to them in their mind, in their hearts, they can share their experience with them telepathically or emotionally. There was so much disinformation about the positive races. There was so much negative propaganda against the Pleiadians, against the Esther Command. This has to be discarded. People need to reconnect with those beings again, and they will have their own positive experience, and this will reestablish the link which was broken in the last 2 decades. And Pluto in Aquarius will reestablish that link.
Okay, great. Thanks for that. And the next question, will the energy from the galactic center begin to flow towards the surface of this planet in full force, irrespective of whether we are reaching the critical mass or not?
Okay, again, I will say it will not reach the full capacity yet, but it will be greatly enhanced. So it will be much more powerful, and it will flow regardless if we reach the critical mass or not. If we are reaching a critical mass, the whole process will be much more harmonious and much more effective. But even if we are not reaching the critical mass, there is not much time left. So the energy needs to get enhanced. It needs to accelerate. The process needs to continue regardless of what we do.
Okay, understood. Okay, and if this activation is successful, what would be the likely situation or scenario for the dark forces?
This information is classified.
Yeah, understood. Okay, what can we do to prepare physically and energetically for the great success of this activation?
You can already begin connecting with the energy of this portal of life. It has already started on March 23rd when Pluto entered Aquarius. And by doing that, you will have your own individual experience of it, and you can share this with others. And of course, share this information about this meditation we are having and spread it to as many beings as possible. Of course, those only who are open for something like this.
Yeah, I think that's kind of related to what I'm going to ask you. The next question is, do we have any suggestions on how we can promote these portal activation to the general population and encourage them to join?
The most effective way is to spread the promotional videos through social media, through your networks. If you can perhaps inspire any of the more visible light workers or light warriors on the scene who might be open for this, they might assist in this process. That's also beneficial, so we'll see. We will do our best.
Yeah, we will see. We do our best. I think one thing we're trying to do is to do a hashtag on social media, like hashtag portal of light activation, so that to kind of raise our voice in the social media and Twitter, on the Instagram, so more people can kind of join into the activations. So we try to see how we can get the best of it. And okay, the next question is, you mentioned if the critical mass is not reached, the energy which will manifest in a much more chaotic and disharmonious rate. Maybe it's more repetitive now, but can you please elaborate more on these issues and more specific chaos or event can we expect if the critical mass is not reached?
The more of the same chaos we are experiencing now. We are experiencing chaos in geopolitical situation, in financial markets, in the society as a whole, between people in general. This chaos will continue and can even enhance because the energies will be stronger.
Right. Would it be possible like the conflict between Russia and Ukraine is going to be more escalated if they not being reached by critical mass?
Well, that is just speculation now, so I will not go into details. I would just say that if we do not reach the critical mass, there might be more chaos. If we reach the critical mass, it will be much more harmonious and also faster and more efficient.
Okay, thanks for the explanation. Understood. Okay, and then we also want to know that what day is the most appropriate time for holding a preliminary or booster meditations, if there will be any?
Yes, there will be a preliminary booster meditation. The most effective time for this would be the moment of the eclipse that is happening on the 20th of April.
Okay, yeah, we can.
This can be organized, yes. So this is the time for the booster meditation, roughly 10 days before the main activation. That would be the perfect moment.
Sure, it makes sense. We can organize that then. Okay, that's kind of running up our questions on the portal of light activations, and we're going to move on to a bit more on a situation update. And the first question is, recently you posted an article about the meditation to stabilize the financial system. In that post, there's a picture of Martha St. German, but which is a different form. His 18th century portrait. Is there a significant purpose to presenting him in this manner in this particular situation?
This was just an image of Saint Germain for this particular meditation. Of course, the original poster, which is coming from the 18th century portrait, is more powerful. This was just done for that particular meditation to inspire people in that particular situation.
Okay, understood. And the next question, can you provide an update on the clearing of the causal plane and the removal of the loss of karma?
Yes, all the lords of karma, or I would say lords of trauma, have been removed from the causal plane. They have been either taken to the central sun, or some of them have escaped to the lower mental plane, to the astral plane, and most of them to the etheric plane, where they have their main stronghold now.
Right, okay. Would you mind if I ask, are they still as powerful as before if they move to different planes?
They're losing power daily. The light forces are clearing them plane by plane. They are removing the anomaly. They are removing all those negative technologies. and Lords of Karma are losing power daily. They are still quite powerful on the etheric plane right now, but on the other non-physical plane, they have lost most of their power already.
Okay, good. That's very good news, actually. And okay, so on the follow-up was, if the lots of karmas are removed, like you say already, will the surface population be able to meet with their soulmates?
Well, there is a physical aspect of this which we haven't touched yet. So the physical aspect of this has to be addressed first.
I see. Okay. And the next question, you mentioned in the previous situation update that the life forces are erasing negative soul contracts from the casual bodies of humanity. And if we purposely emphasize that we hereby cancel and notify all negative contracts with a lot of karma when using the self-contract removal protocol, will this in turn make this protocol more beneficial to us and also the planetary liberation process?
Yes, of course. And here the suggestion would be to do that protocol in the mass meditation at the moment of the booster meditation, at the moment of the eclipse on the April 20th. So that day we can use one part of the meditation then would be to just cancel and nullify all those negative soul contracts. That would assist in the process quite much.
All right, so it's more like doing the booster meditation first, and then after that we together do the meditation together.
This would be part of the booster meditation. First, to remove the soul contracts which are actually standing in the way, and after those contracts are removed, there will be more energy flow. It will be easier to do the meditation, and it will also assist in gathering more people for the main activation on May 1st.
I see. Okay, understood. Thank you. Okay, and for my final question, as Pluto enters Aquarius for the first time after more than 200 years, how will it affect the planetary liberation process?
The transit of Pluto through Aquarius, which will last for more than 20 years, is the transit which will break the quarantine open. So it will be the end of quarantine Earth. The planet will reconnect with the galactic family. This is the aspect that will make this happen.
Yeah, that's very good news. Okay, thanks, Cobra. Thanks for your answers. I'll now pass on to Patrick.
Okay, thank you, Hoshino. And now here's my part. My first question is, the Taiwanese government declared that people can stop wearing masks in most places from February 22nd. The Japanese government is going to downgrade COVID-19 to the same level as the seasonal flu from May 8th. So do the life force think that this three-year-long pandemic will completely end at this year?
What is expected that the COVID as an illness will still exist, but it will be less and less severe, and it will be less and less drama used by the dark forces to create a false pandemic situation or to impose any kind of restrictions. It will be just a seasonal illness similar to the common flu and nothing more, nothing less.
Oh, very good. Okay, next one. In June, February 2022 blog update, we presented two scenarios and educate guesses and speculations. The first scenario for the event is in 15 months, which is May 2023. 15 months from time frame from February 2022, and then a fast transformation of the surface human society until the galactic poles in 2025. Does it mean that if the event does not happen in May 2023, well, the next gen for the event be only after 2025?
No. The May 2023 is the demarcation line. The hope was to make the event, to push for the event before the demarcation line, and obviously that will not happen. So my educated guess now would be the event between May 2023 and up until the opening of the big portal in August 2025. So that would be this is just an educated guess. It can be completely wrong. It can be right. We will see. This is just an estimation. But it is extremely unlikely anything like this can happen before the activation of the portal of light. That is a necessary step towards the energy conditions that are necessary for the event to happen.
Okay, so next one. Could the event occur when the causal plane is cleared and the physical underground pits are removed, or the activation of the dragon vortex has been required to activate for the event to occur?
This is not a requirement.
Okay. So the next question, will be able to provide message from the commanders of Pleiadians, such as Semyas, or ascended masters such as Astra for the light workers and light warriors in pursuing their missions at present moment?
I have no special message at the moment, but I know they are monitoring the situation. They are assisting as much as they can, and they are removing the darkness. And after the portal of light, there might be new information coming from them as well.
Oh, very good. So, okay, next one. In the previous interview, you mentioned that the light forces are developing a new protocol for individual use or Mjolnir technology. Is there any update on this development?
Not yet, but it might come in the next few months.
Oh, very good. Next question. Recently, a lot of AI-powered chatbots and applications have been released to the public. Is this a part of plan of Cobra for the Great Reset?
Yes, actually, those AI-powered chatbots are not so innocent. They are harvesting data from you, and I would strongly advise against using any of them.
Oh, okay. Okay, so now we are entering the next section of our interview. It's for clarification. So the first question is, we know that the universe can go through expansion and contraction. How can we explain their meaning and principles according to spiritual science?
Okay, can you reframe this question?
So we know that the universe can go expand and contract itself. So how can we explain the meaning of expansion and contraction and how it works according to spirit science?
It is a breathing of the universe. Like every living being, this universe is a living being, and it breathes in and breathes out. That's the simple answer to this.
Okay. So now that the universe keeps going through expansion and contractions, there should be no any fixed central point. As the universe does not have a central point, how can the life forces pinpoint the location of cosmic central sun?
Okay, universe is actually shaped as a torus, and the torus, as you know, does not have a central point, but it does have a central entry point. This is the point where the cosmic central sun is located, and that is the most powerful entry point from the higher planes towards the physical plane in this universe.
Oh, okay. So next question. In Unveiled Mysteries Volume 5, the author mentioned the Indian sun god Surya. The book described him as a great cosmic being. Can you explain his relationship with cosmic central sun?
Surya is actually the name of the entity which embodies our physical sun. That's the cosmic being that has our physical sun in the solar system as the physical body. And of course, as all stars, also our sun in the solar system is connected with the galactic central sun, and they are connected. All the galactic central suns are connected to the cosmic central sun.
Okay. So next question. If we consider global ley lines as the meridian system of the Earth, can the Earth's geomagnetic pole be considered as Kundalini?
Not exactly. The axis between the south and the north pole is the axis of Kundalini.
Okay. So next one. Taiwan has one of the densest cinematic rays of the light in the world. We have noticed that the air quality in Taiwan has remarkably improved. Besides, Taiwan has not been hit by any typhoon in 3 years. However, we also find that Taiwan becomes more vulnerable to drought because we do not have enough rain supply from typhoons. How can we use the local cinematic light to regulate the climate in Taiwan and keep a more balanced rainfall?
Yeah, actually, people in Taiwan need to decide what they want. If they want no typhoons, it's very hard to get some rain because it's a subtropical climate. So you would probably need to allow more of the typhoon situations to get more drought. Not the most devastating ones, but you would need to tolerate some of that activity in the island. So this is basically a group decision. It's a decision of people who are living there.
Okay. So next question. You mentioned that Villa di Vescovi is actually an ascension chamber. Do you mean that the whole architecture is an ascension chamber?
Yes, the whole villa was built in the Renaissance purposely as an ascension chamber. The sacred geometry, the measurements, the positioning of individual rooms, the positioning of the villa on the vortex, it has been done purposely as an ascension chamber.
Oh, very good. So how can the Lightworks use this villa to accelerate their own ascension process?
Just go there and meditate and see what happens.
Oh, very good. So next question. Why do we have to imagine rainbow stars in the goddess vortex meditation? What kind of energy do they bring?
This is classified information at this point, but I can only say this is the most powerful spiritual technology on the surface of the planet right now.
Oh, okay, so next part, it's only a simple one question about future plane. Will there be any more activation in the second half of this year?
Maybe yes, maybe no, and if yes, it will be announced at the proper time.
Okay, very good. So now we are reaching the end of our interview. So can you please share a message with all Lightworks and Lightworkers? We are working very hard to promote the portal of light activation.
Yes, the light forces and all the beings of light throughout the universe are appreciating that very much. This is a great assistance in the planetary process and in the cosmic process. And there are those who are not promoting this, and for them it will be good if they feel so guided just to take maybe 20 minutes of their time to meditate, and it cannot hurt. It can only make things better.
Oh, very good. So okay, now I think we have a very good interview. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Cobra. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.